Welcome back to Lucid Living. And if this is your first time, welcome, welcome. I'm so happy to have you aboard. My name is Andrew Larkin. I'm an actor, model, performer, breathwork coach, and today I'm going to be your host, your guide for today's podcast episode. All right, my friends, if you've been listening to this, you know that I've recently moved to New York City and I have some friends I've already met, but the cool thing about being in a new space is that you get to meet some really cool, talented, amazing individuals. And I met this amazing individual through an acting class, and I'm so stoked to dive into this conversation. But before we introduce this amazing guest, let's do some nice grounding breath work. I'm feeling just a simple 4-second box breath. So we'll do that for 3 rounds. That's going to be an inhale through the nose for 4. And as we inhale, we're going to expand the belly outwards like you're filling up a water balloon. Nice and big, nice and big. Hold at the top, 4, 4. Exhale out the mouth, 4, 4. Bring that belly back to your center. Hold at the bottom for 4. We're going to do that 3 times. Whether this is your morning, your afternoon, your night, this just brings some mindfulness, some stillness, some presence to your day. And it always feels a little good. Feels pretty good, pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. All right, let's begin with an inhale through the nose in 3, 2, 1. Big inhale through the nose. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4. Exhale out the mouth. 3, 2, 1. Hold it. 3, 2, 1. Big inhale through the nose, big belly. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4. Exhale out the mouth. 3, 2, 1. Hold it. 3, 2, 1. Last one. Big inhale through the nose. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4. And exhale out the mouth. 3, 2, 1. Hold it. 4, 3, 2, 1. Alrighty, you can return to your natural breathing. Wiggle the toes, wiggle the fingertips, bring some energy back into the body. Take a sip of water if you feel called. And my friends, today we have ourselves an actor, an artist. I gotta say, he's a little bit of a martial artist. My brother, Nii Adu Clark. What's going on, man? Welcome to the show.
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me, Andrew. I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing awesome, bro. Just stoked on life right now. Stoked on life. So we start each episode with where are you geographically in the world, and how are you feeling in this particular season of life?
All right. Well, geographically, I am in the United States. I'm in New York. Right now, I feel very blessed. I'm very happy to be alive and also just able to exist currently. So that's a nice feeling.
Yes, sir, man. Yes, sir. Every day, baby. All right, now we're gonna dive into the past a little bit. This is the most loaded question I ask everyone on this show, so take this in any way that you want. But I kind of give you the opportunity to share your story in your own words. So, what was life like for a young Nii Adu growing up? Family, likes, dislikes, interests, middle school, high school, college. All the progressions that kind of have led you to where you are today.
Okay. Well, ironically, I feel like this was like a destined path, like the art field. Um, like my mom knew I was supposed to do arts even before like I even had a concept of like it being specifically like its own thing. Um, yeah, she would say stuff like when I was little, I would just like sit down on the couch like a toddler just staring at a blank TV, like there's nothing on. I'm just looking at myself on the TV. So she's like, "No, I knew you were supposed to do something." And it's very rare for like a an African mother, like a West African mother, to let you do any type of creativity as a kid, because a lot of times, especially like growing up in the 90s, they're like, oh yeah, you have to do tech, or you have to be, in the science field or medical field, which is what I actually was going to do. That was the ideal plan. I was going to try to do forensic science. And she was like, no, you're going to do ballet, you're gonna do contemporary, you're gonna do all these things. And my dad, he didn't know I was doing any of that because, he was in Maryland, but they were separated. So certain things that my mom was like, no, you're gonna experience this, you're gonna do that. He had no idea about. He was just like on the same,
Mm.
the straight and narrow path, I guess. Um, yeah, as I got older and uh, I was lucky enough to experience different ways of life. Because I grew up in an area that is very, very diverse. I think more diverse than New York, actually. I think we were one of the top three for like a few years. Montgomery County, Maryland. Everyone went to school with each other. It didn't matter if you were quote unquote down county or up county. Like it didn't really matter. We all kind of just like we all went to school near kids from Potomac. We all went to school near kids of like what we called like Pepper Tree, which is like one of the like more impoverished areas. I do quotations because honestly looking out into the rest of the world, we had a better infrastructure because our community actually like cared about like the roads and the education and so on. Yeah, I wanted to I ended up eventually going back to arts after taking like a few years off. Because like going from like the private school space where like you have this space where it's like okay we're going to curate things to these children whatever they're good at or what they're capable of to then going into a public school space and of course not to get too crazy but I'm a dark skinned male, you know what I mean? And I have an African name. I already got a huge target on my back going into public school, especially like early 2000s. Like it wasn't cool to be African, So I'm like, oh man, I can't tell them I dance. I can't tell them I sing. I can't do any of that. So I
Mm,
decided to do like band. So I learned to play instruments and that was like semi cool. So I
mm,
did that and like of course all the other things like skating and whatnot to try to like fit in. And I still love those things to this day. Um, but somehow, some way, the universe was like, nah, you have to go back. You can't run from it. So I was like, all right. In between doing like all these other extracurricular activities, I had a friend who actually is now, I think he's a rapper now. I don't know. I haven't talked to him in a while, but we talk off and on. But he was like, no, we got to do the school play. And I'm like, dude, nobody's gonna pick us because we have not done the school play freshman year, sophomore year, junior year. Like, they're very clicky, right? Like, I'm like, there's no way we're gonna even get a remotely like useful role. We're gonna be like the trees in the background. Like, he's like, no, we gotta do it. We gotta do it. And I was like, okay. I ended up having to battle my band teacher who was basically threatening me to be drum major. She's like, if you don't show up, you're not going to be drum major. And I was like, "Ah, well, I want to do this play. So I ended up giving up the possibility of being drum major to go do this play for senior year because I just wanted to do it. And it was the farce known as Rumors. And that play it's deep and dear to my heart because of how chaotic it is.
mm,
And my friend and I got the leads, which was a huge shock. Like we had so much hate for that. It was crazy. But I was like, wow, okay, like maybe there is something here. And even my old band teacher was like, no, you're actually really good. Now, at the time, I only thought technique was like with music or dance. I didn't know acting had technique. So I'm like, just gonna go to regular college and just do this quick music scholarship thing. And I don't really want to do classical like music. I don't want to be a jazz musician or anything. Like, cause I hate music theory. Oh my gosh, the math in
mm,
that pisses me off. So I
mm,
was like, I don't want to do it. And midway through my, I want to say first semester of uni, I was like, I'm not supposed to be here. And I got a text from my cousin saying, "Hey, are you still interested in acting?" I was like, "Yeah." It's like, "Oh, there's this like showcase that's like local." I was like, "Oh, all right, maybe I'll do it." So I convinced my mom, and I went. And I thought I was gonna be terrible, right? Because you're like, in our minds, we think being an actor is like you gotta be young and like you start from the bottom, like the drama school and pre-K, and all of a sudden you get an agent, and boom, now you're just on this trajectory, and however long it takes is however long it takes. The naive mind of what we all think, I think at the beginning is some way. And I do my audition. They asked me to go to Florida. I was like, I don't even know how I'm supposed to get to Florida. I don't even have money for that, for this showcase. And I'm like, man, we're paying to do this. And my mom's like, nah, we're gonna do it because someone's telling me you really need to do this. I was like, all right. So we go, and man, I had a hard time. At first, it felt like I was like, okay, this makes sense. This is like it makes sense. It's all worth it. Then we do the performances, and I'm like, oh my God, I am hot trash. I feel like I am bombing every single like like scene, every video, everything that they had us do. Like we had like little moments where it's like, okay, you do your on camera showcase, your theater showcase. I'm like, I'm like, wow, I'm terrible. And they had us go and talk to agents and like see if they want to like work with you or schools and stuff. And I was adamant about not going to school. I was like, I just want to go straight into arts. And I went up to a few agencies and they didn't even have the ones that I really wanted. Some of them didn't even show up. I found one guy and I don't remember his name, but I think it's a good thing I don't. Because I talked to him and we were just talking about superheroes and stuff. And he was a comic book nerd. I was a comic book nerd. And and I was like, hey, like I really mess with you. Like I really like your vibe. I would really love to like, keep in contact, maybe, audition for you individually so that we could like, work together. Cause I'm trying to like insinuate like I want you to sign me, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, dude, you've got great energy and I can see you've got all this like you have this factor, but the thing is, you don't have training. You don't know what your cameras are. You don't know any of this information. And I'm thinking, what does that matter? If I'm great, you should just pick, right? You're like you hear these stories of that happening, so you're just like, what? What? Man, I was heartbroken. That conversation really broke me. I was the first time I ever had my first like artist crash. I call it like artist crash. You like kind of have that displacement of like, what am I doing? Is this like worth it anymore? And I I went to two other auditions that you just had to walk into in the showcase, and I didn't want to do it. And my mom is begging me, like they were trying to find me in the convention center. Like I disappeared because I was like I can't do this. She's like calling me like, no, you gotta go. My sister's like, no, just go to these two, just try it. I was like, all right, fine. So I went, and it was for two colleges. It was for NIFA, and then the other one was for NYCDA, which is no longer around, but I hope it comes back. And I ended up getting scholarships for those schools. And I honestly, my young mind was like, this is stupid. I don't want to go to art school. Like, there's gonna like I don't need this. Like you don't really think you need the training. You're like either I got it or I don't. So I didn't realize that I was the only one at the time to get both scholarships. So all of a sudden, for me being like a social pariah art-wise, everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, how are you?" I'm like, "Where did you all care about me all of a sudden after the whole like award ceremony?" And it showed me that aspect of like can be very superficial, um, especially in the art world when in a space that we try to pride ourselves on being so intentional and meaningful. Um, which is a sad thing, but I think it was good because it prepared me for art school. I ended up going to New York for art school, and since that, I've just been like hitting the ground running.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, dude. First off, shout out to your mom. Shout out to all the moms out there, dude. Was
Yes.
she in the arts herself?
Funniest thing is, she was not. When she was younger, from what I know, right? She actually wanted to be a news reporter. She wanted to get into like journalism at one point, and she was actually working. I think it might have been like early Fox. Like she was doing like interning there because she wanted to slowly get in front of the camera. And that was like 90s, like 80s almost. I think it was like the 80s. Because she was quite young and she was also like hanging out with this elderly model who was like, you have great like bone structure. So she was kind of in that route of like eventually TV. And
Mm-hmm.
my whole family is very artsy. Like apparently my uncle was doing tie-dye like in the peak of like tie-dye like selling. So he was outside like, on the streets selling tie-dye shirts. There's a few chefs, like all like we're all very creative people. But no, my mom did not like fully go into that and like yeah, she didn't.
Mm-hmm. That's so really cool, man. You got it in the it's in the blood somewhere, man. It's deep in
Yes,
the roots.
absolutely. Absolutely. I'm 100% um like it's like one of those things where you feel it. Like there's such an awareness of that that I can't shake. Because every time I'm like, oh, I want to do this, my mom goes, oh, your uncle did that when he was a kid. I'm like, what? Like why did he stop? I don't know, just got bored. Like I found out one of my uncles who literally would drive me to school all the time, like her older brother. This guy could play guitar. Like he can shred. And I had no idea. He heard me listening to Jimi Hendrix one day and I had my guitar and I was just doing bullshit, right? And he just goes, "Oh, this is yours." Like, yeah, he takes it and he starts. tuning it by ear because I go, it's not correct. I'm like, what? How do you have perfect pitch? He's just like, I guess. Like and he's so nonchalant about it. He was so nonchalant about it. He just started playing, and I was like, I'm sick. And I asked him, I was like, when did he learn to play guitar? I was like, oh, he's always played guitar. I had no idea. Like as I got older, I started noticing so many things about my family and just how creative they are, and like it's trickled down to the kids for sure. Like all of us have some type of creativity. Like I've got family members who make like clothes. Like I've got they made brands. I have cousins who make music. Um, yeah, like it's a beautiful thing to see us decide that we're going to actually embrace it rather than run away from it. Like
Mm.
they had to due to survival.
Yeah, dude, that's amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Also, shout out to I feel like these little guardian angels, like your friend and your cousin, that kind of set you on the path at those right moments to tell you that it was time to come back. Like you had mentioned that it felt like a destined journey, and I'm sure there's gonna be plenty more moments throughout your career. And I'd love to kind of touch on this can be a bit of a rabbit hole, but like what is your relationship with faith? Because I feel like this is such a spiritual pursuit and we're constantly living in the unknown, and that's where so many miracles lie, and miracles happen. It can be really scary and intimidating, but it's undeniable that there's something maybe pulling strings when you have a good heart and you're putting all your good energy forward while also doing the training and doing the work. That's when like these crazy things can start happening. So what was your relationship with like faith before maybe you got into the arts and then now during?
Okay. Yeah, I grew up in a very like Christian household, but I wouldn't say like old school Christian like Presbyterian or like um heck even like uh even more so like as like forbearing as like I guess I would say like how like the Catholic churches like you have to be very structured. It was never like that because there's even some New Age Christian churches that are very like where I've seen it and I'm like, whoa, like doesn't that kind of defeat the purpose of what these things were? So I was quite knowledgeable about like the Bible and the Christian aspect of it. But my mom, she's what you would call unorthodox in like the Christian ideology based off of her birth, like all five of her siblings, because um her dad was actually Muslim and he used to teach the Quran in Ghana. So he's very well known in the Ghanaian community as this pillar in the Muslim faith. And then my grandma, her mom, she was initially Catholic and then went into like just being like Presbyterian Christian. And they loved each other. They had each other's back like 100 grand. Like it was one of those relationships where when one was gone, the other couldn't function.
Mm.
It was truly like a pairing from like God, the divine, whatever you believe, that was what that was. And it created such beings that are now here that are trying their best to understand this overarching connection to everything. So I was familiar with the Quran, familiar with the Bible, and then on my own, because I have an aunt who actually practices the ideologies of Buddhism. So for some that don't know, Buddhism has been dubbed a religion as propaganda. It's an ideology. It's not meant to be a thing where you force this upon people or make it this thing where you have to be in a specific place to practice these ideologies, which I think is the same thing with Christianity. It's not meant to be only in this one space. Like one of the best things that you hear in all of these texts are that your body is your temple, right? So you hear that in Buddhism, your body's your temple, right? God is in your heart. That is in Christianity. They say that God is within you,
Mm.
right? It's that same concept. Same thing in the Quran. They bring up that Allah is within you, right? And in order for you to connect it, yes, being with a group helps because you're constantly renewing your mind because the biggest battle is within your mind. So I was aware of these things and I decided to like look up these minimalist ideologies and what these aspects um, allow, right? And I think when you are connected to these spaces, um, like you end up understanding that it's very similar. is very similar because there's like this connective consciousness. We do cognitive dissonance in order to exist in a society that is built, right? Like we do, okay, we are in the same space, but because your eyes are blue and my eyes are black, we're different, right? Then it's like, okay, which one's better? How can I benefit, right? And that's how that kind of shifts the way we think about all of these things. And then you get people changing things in order to make it more beneficial to them and so on.
Mm-hmm.
But I think after knowing all those things and learning that, like going on my own spiritual journey as a kid, because I witnessed like people use religion to do terrible things. I witnessed my sister actually defend my grandfather in a like those when you go to church and you have those like youth pastors moments.
Mm-hmm.
They were talking about something like, yeah, like if you're not Christian, you don't go to heaven. My sister said, wait, hold on. My uncle taught the Quran and actually fed his community and helped them, bathed them, clothed them, and gave them all these things. But because he's not Christian, he doesn't get to go to heaven. And I was just watching her and I was like, that's a good question. And she's just like, well, I mean, that's what it says. And she stormed out the room. And I was like, I should leave too, but I was so scared. Right? Or like the concept of Mormonism. Mormonism was also created in a different way. And one of the things is like, because I believe everybody should have a space to exist and actually be equal, right? We all have heartbeats. We're all doing the same things or trying to do the same things, trying to pursue these like opportunities where we can all actually just eat, live, and be in peace, right? You have an entire space saying that, let's say if I'm Mormon, I don't get to go to the good heaven. Like there's like two tiers of heaven. Because I'm black, I don't get to go to regular heaven. I go to other heaven. And that made me question it. Because I had another kid who was of African descent who was Mormon telling me like, "Oh yeah, you should think about Mormonism." And I was like, "Oh, tell me about it." And then I was like, "Let me do some research." I came back and I was like, "Dude, why are you there? You don't get the same opportunity. You don't get to live in complete joy. You get to be in like the subdivision of it. I don't ever want to live like that. I don't think that's what the creator intended." So it made me really think of these things. So when I got into arts, like officially, there was like that feeling that you get. I like to call it like the Speed Force, like very nerdy of me, the Speed Force
Mm-hmm.
from Flash. But it's like you know when you get that high, it's like a runner's high.
Mm-hmm.
You're performing and it just boom. You're not even existing as yourself anymore. You're not aware of the moments. You're breathing life into the space and it's there. And as performers, we're always chasing that because that's when we know the work is actually succeeding, you know? Like you don't even question it. We all understand that this is when that ebb and flow happens. We know we're there. And the moment we can figure out the ebb and flow beforehand, it's when everything flows. Even if we don't know our lines, it comes off so well. I started chasing that because I was like, wait, hold on. It's like that same feeling you get from meditation or breath work, even. And it's like, okay, how do I, apply that to get there? Um, and I think that now it's actually harder to remain in the faith spaces, like in terms of like connecting, because as adults, we're dealing with so much, especially now in this world. Um, like we've always had hardship. Everyone's always had hardship, but I feel like it's a lot harder because now with social media, as well as how brutal the world is right now. Like we're going back, we're regressing a lot in real time, a lot of things that are beneficial to everyone, and people aren't aware of it that are just being completely eradicated. It's almost like you have to be in the world in order to try to like succeed immensely, but then you also have to give that time for yourself to remain connected to the 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 spiritual elements, the air, if you will. Like it's hard. It is hard. So being an artist and wanting to do well and be that voice for people, it almost feels like sometimes you before you go in for something, you're like, oh man, you're thinking about all this chaos. You're like, man, like I just had this phone call with my friend and they're crying because this happened and it's like they're right to cry and then you gotta go in and you gotta like do some scene about a sandwich. And you're just like, what does this matter, you know? So it's like it kind of messes with you. So yeah, I think right now, I say all that just because like as you can tell, it's something that weighs on my heart a bit. It is difficult. I feel like it's harder now, but it gives me that morsel of hope, that same feeling I get with meditation or prayer. I'm getting that in acting now, which is a great feeling, but it is harder because it's like I want to be there the entire time, but I feel like I can't.
Hmm. Yeah, man. That was beautiful, bro. First off, that was beautiful.
Thank you, man. I appreciate
Um,
that.
oh gosh. I don't even want to follow up, man. That was talking about kind of let's talk about like just balancing all of it because you have the chaos and you have the art. And art is such a I think of like when I kind of reflect, sometimes I get in my own head because I got letterbox. I'm trying to write really witty, smart. Like I'm a film man, so I'm trying
Yeah.
to do it. And there are some, and I try to get like what is my taste? How do I actually review certain things? Some things I love, some things I don't necessarily gravitate towards. What is my thing? Blah, blah. And
Mm.
ultimately, at the end of the day, the movies that I gravitate towards, the movies that hold the highest esteem are the ones where I'm in it and everything else disappears. And I walk out of it and like I'm buzzing. I'm like actually like move. I see the world a little bit differently. And for me, that was Hamnet that like did that for
Oh,
me this
fire.
year. And that's the power of this medium, the power of the arts. And the arts, it's so many different things, dude. It could be cooking, it could be live performance, live music, movies. There's so many different forms and iterations of it. Um, and it's truly it's hard because like you're saying when you have the weight of the world and especially when you're representing entire communities and you're going through a lot of the bullshit that's happening in the world today and then you have a scene like you're doing like heavy comedy or you're doing like stuff that seems meaningless but then there are times where you're doing work that you're carrying all that weight like I've been listening to K-pop Demon Hunters and the
Hmm.
creators of that and they were representing Korean
Yes.
culture, dude. Like it's
Yes.
immense and it's amazing and it's such a privilege and like pressure is privilege, and that it's just such a an amazing thing. And it's I guess my question coming out of this is how do you find balance, like from a practical standpoint, from the weight and the emotional weight of all this stuff kind of going on, and then also doing the work, boots on the ground, doing the training, trying to sustain and support yourself financially in New York City. How do you find, like, what tools do you have to kind of get you through when the days, even when the days are great, but also when the days aren't so great? What are some like practical things that you do to implement to kind of stay grounded, to stay optimistic and positive, and to never lose faith?
Hmm. Yeah, first off, amazing on pressure is privilege. That hit my soul. Like my heart literally went boom. Like that
Mhm.
that was powerful, man. I would say when it comes to the balancing, it took a while. I still feel like I'm still trying to figure it out because it's we're humans, we're always changing. That's one of the things that we tend to forget, I think, as a society. We are always evolving. So anytime we figure something out once, it may not work again. So we have to be like water. We have to ebb and flow. We have to be, movable, right? So I think what I used to do was I felt like I had to be so immersed. Everything, every little thing had to be so intense. Like, oh, look at how they picked up that pencil. Oh my God, it's so inspiring. They just like, it's like you start making stuff out of nothing, but there is always something to something, right? I will never negate that, but it's like the psychosis of that can sometimes get you in that framework. However, after a while, it didn't work. I couldn't enjoy film. I couldn't watch new shows because everything was about how and what they were doing, and I wasn't enjoying it the way I was supposed to. I think a lot of people go through that when they come out of art school. They're like, "How did they breathe, bro?" you know, you're like, "Oh yeah, like he blinked like 5 times and then said his line." And then we try to do that in art class. Like you go in like later on, like you go into like a studio space and you try it, and then they're like, I didn't believe that." And you're like, but I saw like freaking Joseph Gordon-Levitt do it. So what's the problem? Like
Mhm.
so, so that didn't work for me. after a while, and then I started doing like meditations beforehand because I did a play, and one of my friends, who was the opposite of me, he's very spiritual. This guy is always on like Tibetan walks and stuff. Like this dude is, I don't even know where the hell he is right now. I think he's like in Thailand. This dude is a nomad. I don't know what he's doing like ever. All of a sudden, I just see a clip of him like on some island, and I'm like, bro, how are you surviving? But it's like I got that from him, and I was like, yo, let me meditate before I go on stage, and it helped because it like centers me. So I kind of do a variation of that, which I found out was later like some Alexander technique stuff. When a
Mm.
friend of mine who does it told me, like, yeah, yeah, no, we do that, like soft sots. And I was like, yeah, I got that from Suzuki. He's like, yeah, no, we do that right before. I'm like, oh, you guys are just doing a bodily check-in. And I realized I wasn't checking in before going out. Usually I'm just like, I know my lines, I'm ready, I have this energy. But sometimes you don't even need that. You just being rested goes in. Um, and then after that kind of dwelled down, the new thing that I found was this fusion. I'm in a space mentally now where I want to combine everything and create my own. And I think it's because I was like listening to music I used to listen to as a kid. My mom is a huge music head. My dad is a huge music head. Like I'm talking like he'll bring up bands like Osabisa, which is a 1970s band from Ghana that like changed the wave of like psychedelic music in the 70s. Like influenced artists like Bob Marley, influenced artists like Jimi Hendrix. Jimi Hendrix's guitar riffs. He really liked Osabisa. And yeah, the Beatles even shouted them out. They I think they I might be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. But I think they at one point like overtopped them at some point. But like on a billboard. But it was like I was listening to I think it was Prince and Michael back to back. Like I do this thing where I listen to both of them back to back because like they influenced me in different ways.
Mm.
And I was like, hold on, this is reminiscent of gospel. Like Prince was doing stuff like this with God. Like, was this gospel influence? So I'm like researching, like, okay, so he took that from gospel singing. Okay, Michael took this aspect from James Brown. Okay, oh wow, that is from that's from Charlie Chaplin. That little movement is a Charlie Chaplin move. That little like it looks kind of crazy, like, but like he's doing it in a dance form, but he took that little fall and added it to his core. That's interesting. So I'm like, okay, how do I combine everything and make my own thing? So I started like combining the breathing techniques and the meditation, but using soft sots where you stare at a focus point, right? And I check in. Then I'm like, okay, I'm using my understanding of myself. Like, what do I like? I'm not running from the things I like anymore. Because sometimes we watch something and go, oh man, I want to do it like that. And you're trying to like, be so removed. I'm like, that's fine. Me liking that is not a problem. I'm allowed to like things. I'm allowed to like a performance. It doesn't make me that person. It doesn't make me be so influenced that I can't give myself. So I'll go, you know what did I like about this aspect of this type of character? Cool. What is a person I know that has something similar to this? Cool. What is something that I have that melds it? And I combine them and I mold it into whatever makes sense. With the meditation, it kind of sets it in, and then boom, now I can create. But if it feels like on the outside of it, outside of like performance, like if I feel drained, because we're gonna feel drained. I do this thing where I'm like, I do non-committal art. I call it non-committal because I don't have anyone telling me my audition time. I don't have anyone telling me that I have to get this down, or it's gonna look bad on camera and no one's gonna watch it. Like I don't have that feeling. So I'll pick up my bass guitar and I'll learn a new song and I'll just play that, or I'll watch a documentary on Basquiat or something. You know what I mean? Like I'll just like, yeah, this is like cool. Or I'll journal. I'll journal and attempt to write 3 pages and just
Mm.
nothing. It's like not committal
Yeah,
art.
man. Blank
Yeah.
pages. Dude, I love that so much. You're truly like that self-taught practice, like that's a true entrepreneur and a true like creator in the purest sense of the word of taking
Thank you.
things that work, that feel good, and then making them your own. You could honestly start a freaking program. I'd freaking, pay $10 a month or something to just keep coming back. Um, and
Thank you,
I'm
man.
curious because I want to go back into specifically the acting stuff.
Mm.
You had that gentleman, again, could have been a universal angel or something telling you
Yeah.
like you need training. So then you go to the conservatory and you get the training. What are some of the things that you took away the most from that? Like, are you kind of picking and choosing? Were there some things
Mm.
that worked, that didn't work, and then implementing and integrating that into the work now? And now you have, I mean, I always say, like, I swear I didn't start actually learning until I graduated college
Yeah.
because then I was fascinated and interested, and then I sought what I wanted to learn and brought that into my practice instead of being told da da da. Granted, the stuff I was
Mhm.
learning wasn't super aligned with like what I wanted to do because I didn't know what I
Mhm.
wanted to do.
Mhm.
But yeah, so in school, yeah, and also I think there's a lot of people who might be like, all right, I need to go to film school, I need to go to an art school, but then there's also the movement almost against it, like you don't need to go to an art school. So like,
Mhm.
what are some of the things that you gained from going to art school and then transitioning and implementing that in your practice today?
Okay. Um, so first thing I would say was the biggest gain from art school is that how they say like college is actually just about who you know. Like it's not really about the education. It's just like
Mm,
you meeting people and learning how to connect. When I mean it's like that in the art world, it is very much so like the art world. So there's nothing wrong with wanting to go to the art school and being like, you know what, let me just make the connects. However, you still need to have that tenacity of those that are like Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy did not go to an art college. You know, he went to an art high school, right? But he wasn't like he admitted he was just like I was just good at what I did. I studied. I went out and learned it, right? There are people who literally are booking multiple shows and movies who started off background acting, right? So it's honestly like the school aspect, what it taught me, it's kind of funny to say this, or maybe it just is very telling of me. It told me not to, it showed me that I can never be anyone but myself. And people will try to mold you into whatever they want you to be. And because we come from a school background in the States where it's basically do as you're told, right? School is all about just do as you're told, do this math equation how we taught you. This is what this thing is in science. This is what that is, right? And sometimes they won't even give you the reason why. Like with science, you can get a reason why. But sometimes even the teacher doesn't know. You have to actually do the research on your own to find it. But that's a decision. With math, there's like 15 different ways to do the same equation and get the same answer. But you have to do it the exact same way that the teacher that you have taught you so that you can get full credits. I used to hate that. So now I'm in art school. It's supposed to be subjective, and you're telling me things like, oh, if you don't know what to do, just copy the person in front of you. Oh, man. Oh, you want me to do the same beats when you didn't give us beats, like in terms of like movements or anything like that? You're just letting us play, right? This is us just playing, and you're letting it flow. There are no set spaces we're going. There are no marks. But you want me to copy this person because I don't have an original thought in my mind? And I was offended.
mm,
I was like, I'm supposed to learn how to breathe on the fly, and you're telling me not to. So I purposefully, even if it was bad, I always made the decision I'm gonna do what I feel in the moment. I'm gonna move where I want to move, even if it looks choppy or shitty. I'm gonna do that. And maybe it's the hard-headedness in me, but I was like, you can't tell me that this is a subjective art and that some things people are gonna love, some people are gonna hate. And then I'm in your classroom and you're telling me to follow this guy who did something that I personally didn't think was that amazing, that I feel like wasn't the character. We're all coming in with different ideas of the character. Nobody's being cast. It's all just doing the work. What is good acting and what is bad acting? This is what we're trying to subjugate, right? So I realized over time, like I refuse to unless it's like I'm legitimately this I am working and you're a director and you're telling me you just don't want me to do something, that's fine. But in an art school space, unless we're working on a piece and I'm cast in it, I thought it was very aggressive um and almost insulting. I remember, I'll never forget this. I'm actually friends with this professor. But if she ever hears this, she's probably gonna crack up. Um, there was a day where I had to come in to do this play. I forgot what the play's name. Something about fires. I don't know. But basically, it's a British play about basically a throuple, right? You have the actual relationship, and then you have the best friend who just lives with them, who's in love with the wife and all that. And I had to play the guy in love with the wife. And this is after she fell, like had an argument. He was quite like aggressive. And I came in and I did this scene, and she didn't like it. She said, "No, I don't understand. Why can't you just like be this way?" Da, 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 da. She's like, "I know you. You're very kind. Why can't you just pick her up and, show her that this?" I'm like, "You want such a specific way." And it took me a second to go, "Hold on. Don't listen to her. Don't listen to anybody." I did soft sots, which I learned from Suzuki in the school. I looked at the ground. I zoned out. I was just hearing jargon. No, 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 no. Everybody's talking. And then she goes, "Oh my gosh, I can't deal with this." And I go, "I got it." And she goes, "Okay, I hope you do." Has her salad. She always has this thing with a salad. She'll hit the salad. And if she's not enjoying it, she won't eat the salad. She'll just crunch. You just hear her crunching. She's just crunching. I do the scene and Speed Force happens. I was the only one in that class to actually know the entire scene. Nobody else knew the entire scene. It got to the point where even my scene partner had to have a reader send her lines. And she was like, "No, send lines, sir. I want to see the rest of this." She's like yelling at people to give the lines to my scene partner because she didn't know. Because no one made it that far. I was the only one that made it that far for that scene. And I'm so forever grateful for that because it did something to my soul where I was like, this is what it is. This is the art form. I was saying the lines and I didn't even know I was gonna be able to do it because nobody made it that far. I mean, like I learned that whole scene just for me because I didn't think I was even gonna get past the first 5 seconds. I really didn't think I was gonna get past it. So like I'm doing everything. I'm doing movements on I'm doing whatever, and the whole class is quiet. She's like, "That was da da da." We end, and someone goes, "How did you do that?" And I go, "I don't know." And this kid rolled his eye at me. He rolled his eyes and walked away. I'll never forget that.
What a crazy little community you had. What school did you go to?
The New York Conservatory for Dramatic Arts.
Hmm.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Like
It's-
that is only a morsel. I'm telling you, every art school has that. I can talk to people from Rotter who've dealt with that, people from Juilliard who I know who've been through that. Like we all talk about crazy. Like the instructors will say some outlandish shit,
Dude.
but like also they feel like it's to get you out of this societal norm because acting is not pretty. We have pretty people, but acting is not pretty.
I think the best acting is ugly and
Yes.
vulnerable and real and human because we are humans, we're not bots.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
This is honestly a good segue because I love talking about mentorship on
Mm,
the pod as well because I think no one's a self-made human, and I love hearing stories of people who we look up to that have helped in our career, and it's crazy, man, because I don't know, there's that notion of if you can't do, you teach, and I hate
yes.
that,
I
man,
hate that too.
because then you have people who are usually living in resentment a little bit later in their lives who didn't achieve the thing, and then they're preaching to the choir when they don't actually have maybe the credentials to back it up. And
Respectfully.
I don't you don't necessarily need the credentials, but
Mm,
if you're leading with hate and like anger and frustration and resentment, it
yes.
doesn't translate well. And some people, like I personally love being pushed. Like I want like a teacher like Whiplash, and J.K.
Yeah.
Simmons, but to be done with the utmost like love and respect. Like you can still back do it's not mutually exclusive. I think a lot of
hmm
times we see that where you're pushing, pushing, pushing and you're just an asshole
hmm
versus you're kind of super sweet and you don't push because you don't want to hurt the other person. Like there's a way to combine those. And I think that is electric and it's rare in this world, unfortunately. I think it's
So
really
rare.
cool now where you have a lot of really talented actors who are able to use their experience into the business. And we're working with coaches who are also aspiring, not aspiring, they are actors. They're like doing the thing, like
Yes.
GSS. Like we have people
Yes.
who are constantly growing and working on their craft. And so I'm curious, were there any, because also teaching it depending on when you get a student, you can make or break. You can literally change the trajectory of their life. Like you could deter someone who might have a
Mm,
spark to never want to pursue that, and then they're 90 and being like, that would have been cool, but da da da.
yeah,
Or you could be the person to propel someone and give them faith when they have the talent, but maybe not the self-confidence to keep moving forward. I'm so passionate about it. I think we need to pay teachers more. But
I
anyways,
agree.
did you have any professors at that university um, that or any acting mentors through? Because I also want to talk about some of these credits, bro. Like, I know they might have been like a day or two, but like Blue Bloods and Dope Thief and Law and Order
Oh
and stuff like
man.
that. Like, do you have any? We could talk about overall mentors. Like I'm sure your mother is a mentor, and like all
Yes.
there are certain people that are mentors as well. But maybe let's start within the creative space. Anyone on set or acting coaches or anyone in the arts who really has mentored you.
Man, so the lady that I told you about with the salad,
Yeah.
I like to think of her as she's like that voice in your head. I don't even think of it as a mentorship. She's like that voice that's like, you can't do it. You can't do it. And then you do it. And they're like, oh, wow, that was really good. So shouts out to Ruth Nurkin. She's a legend. Brilliant instructor. She taught at NYCDA for intro to acting, and she's created beasts. She has created beasts who are doing great things. Some of them are on um, shows like Task. They've had I actually ran into one of them at a function the other day, and that
Mm.
was my first time meeting him. And he was on a TV show I think that was on like Sci-Fi. So I was like, man, that's crazy. You did like an entire series. You were a series regular. Like she just knows what to do, and she went to, I believe, Yale. And she really cares. If she sees that you have the ability, she wants you to thrive. So of course the harshness is to make you fight. She wants you to fight. If you're not gonna fight for the art, she feels like, what are you doing? And it's very, very real.
Mm.
So she makes fighters. She focuses on really making sure you take the time. Like one of my favorite things that I do, even when I feel like out of place in an audition or a scene, is moving and then speaking. Of course, it's a lot faster now, but like she was like, no, no, don't talk until you've done the movement. And it's very much a Stanislavski basic bare bones thing that just helps so much. I want to also give a shout out to Claire Carpin. She teaches at Juilliard. She's insane. She has such a kind way of delivering responses to your work, and she actually gave me confidence in my work. She It was during COVID when I worked with her, like just learning, and the way she did it was she understood what I was going for and was like, okay, why don't we keep that but let go? And I was like, why would I let go? Isn't this like, I have to have, I'm on stage. I haven't done stage work in a minute. Like this is before I did my first play. And I was like, oh my God, like, what do you mean? She's like, no, 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 no. Like, just let it go. Let it go, but just do it. That feeling, hold it and just go. How do I hold and let go? You got it. I'm outside the door, like, all right, here we go. And I open the door, I'm going through my insane moment and people are crying. And she's like, "Yeah, this is a good play for you. You should try to audition for this if it comes back." I was like, "All right, cool." And I still sometimes will be like, "Hey, how are you?" Like, I'll try to see if like she is available for anything. And she does now like her own private tutelage space. So Claire Carpin's a genius. Um, man, who else? Oh, Spencer Barros. Man, that guy, he put me on my first off Broadway. I didn't even know it was off Broadway. Like he asked me to do this thing. I was like, all right, cool. And I get there, and all of a sudden, I see I'm in an article for off Broadway, and I'm like, what? Yeah, like it was crazy. And then I worked with him on the play.
Wait,
Um,
is he in relation to like the Barrow School? Isn't there an
I
acting?
don't know. I don't. No, no, he's not. He's not.
He's a
He
different guy.
um he was an actor who has been around for years. Like he was friends with the cast of Rent. Like the day that they were about to go on. Yeah, yeah, he was there. Like the premiere for it, like the opening night. And like, dude has been a legend. Anytime I call him and I just gotta ask him stuff, he'll 100% help me, and he's a really, really kind person.
Mm.
Um, man, uh, ooh, who else? Dang, there's like people that like that are very inspiring. I'm very weird because I don't like bothering people, so I don't ask a lot of people for things.
Mhm.
And like when they give me things, I'm like, wow, you really like you don't have to do that. That's really appreciated. Like one person who's given me such like kindness, well, two, I would say the first one, Kara Young. Every time I see her, so kind, very loving. She always reminds me of whatever she thinks that I need at the moment. And if I ask her a question, she'll hit me with like something so like poetic. And I'm just like, dang, like
Mhm.
do you just like breathe this shit? Like what are you doing? Like is it like in the air in Harlem? Like um and like Heather, oh my gosh, what's her last name? Let me look at it as I'm about to say her name because I don't want to mess that up because she's
Mhm.
also a legend and she was also in Pro League Victorious and man,
Mhm.
Heather is so kind to me. She's a legend. Heather Sims.
Mhm.
Heather Alicia Sims. Legends. Met them both at 48 Hours in Harlem, and they've constantly been so kind to me since. Um, yeah, they really put the battery in my pack to be like, all right, bro, like you kind of have this thing that is worth seeing. Um, yeah, and with the work, man, going to the credits,
Mhm.
those situations are so wild because like I though a lot of them are like, I'm still in the early stages of my career. I think I'm a baby, honestly, and I'm starting from like scratch. I had no help. Like
Mhm.
this was me starting and meeting and connecting with everybody. And my first rep that I had, my first manager that I had, I met them in the streets. Like I was literally like acting a fool with my friends in Times Square. Like this was not like it was one of those like moments where it's like it's not supposed to happen. It was very divine timing. And it was a time I was looking for a rep. She didn't know I acted. She just thought I had this like thing. I was actually being ridiculous. We just ran from cops. Like we went through such chaos that day. And once I got with her, the first audition that she had me do was Blue Bloods. And that was wild because I thought I was just gonna do like the one liner and be done. But they were like, hey, you're gonna come in. You have two scenes technically. I was like, two? He's like, yeah, you're gonna shoot a firearm. I'm like, huh? Okay, have you ever shot a gun? No. All right, we'll show you. I said, all right. Right. I got to talk to David, the director. What is his? I don't remember his last name. I feel so stupid. I don't remember his last name. But he came from a stunt background. Like, he came from a stunt family. So his dad was like does stunts. He's like, oh yeah, okay, so we're gonna do this run. Like, yeah, I actually really want to see you do this thing. I'm like, all right, cool, we can try it. He's like, do you know what you're doing? I'm like, yeah, I can do some stuff. He's like, okay, yeah, yeah, let's see. So we did like a quick mock-up, like, see if it worked. He's like, I really like this. And that run ended up being it. And he made it so technical. And I was so sad because the episode aired, we didn't get the full technicalness of it. So you hear there's a line in the beginning where you see like the broad view of New York City. You go, come on, let's go. When we did the shot of it, the director had the DP come up with like handheld, right? He had a handheld like backpack setup rig, right? He runs over at me, camera's like here to my face, and immediately I got to do the come on, let's go. I'm like looking here and I yell, come on, let's go. He's pulling back as I take these pliers. I clip a cord, grab the bag, swoop over, snatch another bag, and I have to start moving as the my scene partner is going behind me. It was like
Mhm.
it was literally patting your head and rubbing your belly. We're running and we had to be on the same timing. Then I had to run over to the door, which is like shown, see me grab, run to the door. And that's when Eddie breaks through, boom, freeze, and I have to run. I have to like almost look like I'm falling. Oh man, he was like, I need you to like almost fall. I said, I got you, I got you. So it was like so many takes. And when one time I actually do fall and rolled. So it was like it was very fun to like see them see their work like because they were so intense. At one point he was like, "Can I like grab him?" He was like, "No, like does he actually get away? Like can I just like fight him?" I'm like, "Whoa, I'm not a stunt actor, bro." Like it was cool. With Dope Thief. Man, that process was crazy. Um, I got the audition, and it was initially for Tyree Henry's younger self,
No.
which ended up going to Idris DeBrand, who I am now familiar with. Like we actually follow each other. We're cool.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I did the audition. I made it to callbacks. I was like, oh shit, like this might happen. This might happen. And I do the callback. I send it in. I don't hear anything. I go, okay, I didn't get it, right? I'm like, oh, please, please. You're doing the whole prayer. Like, come on, God.
Mm-hmm.
I look on IMDb. I see just a brand. I go, ah, right. I call it a day. Then a week later, I get a call and they're like, hey, can you do this audition? And it's with the casting company again. I'm like, this time it's not from the head of it, because initially it was Avi Kaufman who sends it in.
Bobby, she's amazing, bro.
Yeah, dude, I was scared shitless when I did that Adobe Thief audition. It was the group that was doing like the local hires, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they were like, no, let's just see if he'll come. So they sent it to me and they gave me a speech. And I had to be like this intimidating juvie kid who's gonna beat up the guy that plays the younger version of Brian Tyree Henry's character. And I was like, whoa, I gotta like this is like funny, right? Because like now I'm like I went for it, didn't get it. Now I get to be like, fuck you, right? Petty, stupid shit. Like your mind, like, oh, this is poetic. So um I end up doing the audition, I send it in, and then they say, can you come to Philly? I go, yeah, yeah. I go, and of course the industry is brutal.
Mm-hmm.
So I get there and they're putting me on all these prosthetics, they're giving me like these scars and stuff. They did a lot of stuff. Like I mean, Apple has a budget. And I got to work with some amazing people, and ultimately my scene didn't even get used.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, ah, that sucks. But like I still got credited, which is a beautiful thing. Um, but man, that was awesome. Like everyone there was so nice. And I didn't even know I came there at a time where they were trying to regroup because something happened prior that resulted in basically a reshoot of episode one entirely. Like they had to do everything again.
Yeah, I heard something went down on that side. I don't know what it was.
Dude, yeah, yeah. It was crazy because like I was like, whoa, like you guys are so kind. And they were looking at me like, really? It's like we feel stressed. I was like, no, you guys are like really nice. So thank you. Um, yeah, it was awesome. Like we just kicked it on like a fake juvie bus for a while, and we were just like bullshitting. It was me,
Mm-hmm.
Idris, and now he's a fucking movie star, David Ayanko. I think I'm saying his name right. He was in The Summer I Turned Pretty. He just did Jurassic World, and now he's doing a bunch of shit. Yeah,
Wait,
he's
is that
nuts.
the kid with curly hair? The
Yes, him. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yo,
He was there.
yeah, he's
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
baller.
This was right after, I think he finished filming season two of A Summer Turned Pretty. And we
Mm-hmm.
were just kicking it. Yeah, it was nuts.
Wow.
Like it was cool vibes. Yeah, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. Or like everybody's really cool. Idris is so funny, bro. He's a Nigerian kid and I'm Ghanaian. It was funny. He was like, "Yo, I actually did a show prior to this because he did a series regular role before he did this one." And he's like, I played a Ghanaian guy. And I was like, bro, what the hell? Like, I'm why aren't I getting sick? You know what I mean? Like, you think, like, how do you get that role? I should be in that role, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Not in like a petty way, but it's just like funny because it's like, the diaspora wars. So, especially with Ghanaians and Nigerians, it's always about our jollof rice or who's got the best, like, food in general, their music. But that's my dog. I love that guy. He's so funny.
Mm-hmm.
His Instagram has me rolling every day, man. Anytime he's doing some type of MC stuff, he's just a funny dude. Yeah.
Mhm. Dude, the joys of this industry that people don't see. They don't see
Yeah.
the 12-hour, 16-hour days where you're really just kicking it with hair and makeup and props and like the directors and the downtime with the other actors. Like it's really a camp and you're
Yes.
creating family. And then the technical component of the blocking in Blue Bloods to do all that, it really is incredible. Like hitting your mark when your mark is like 30
Mhm.
feet away or something
Yes.
and staying it present in the scene. You got to be so prepared. You got to know all your lines. I actually just saw Graham share this bit about just being overly prepared because you might go in with a set expectation as if they're blocking this way and it's like one punch here, you're on the ground,
Mhm.
and then they'll like throw in on the day another thing. So
Yes.
you're saying your line at a different moment than you thought. So you can't come in with preconceived almost ideas. And it's really experience goes a long way because those kind of technical elements are really fast, especially in the action world, and it doesn't hurt that you got a little bit of incredible physicality on the resume, dude. You're gonna be a
Oh
star.
man.
You are a star.
Thank you, bro. Same to you. You have such a spirit that's like so welcoming and so pure, and you do it in your work as well. Like I'm not even like joking. When I see you perform, I actually get really excited. Like I'm actually like, okay, where is he charging from? Right? Like I
Mm,
can always see like I look for it. I'm like, okay, is it his hands? Is it his legs? Like where is he charging from really quick to get that
mm.
spark? And I'm like, okay, the spark is there. He's riding the wave, and I get so excited seeing it.
Oh,
Um,
thank you, man.
yeah,
That's
dude,
like the
you
dream. And honestly, that's I feel like look like because I want to be in rooms with other actors
yes.
that where you're excited. Like it's kind of like you never want anyone to fail, you know? Like I want to
Yes.
see someone literally blow my mind every single
Yes.
time. And it's the most inspiring thing. And you can like kind of pick and pull like certain things, have certain like decisions, but everyone like we all sometimes do the same scenes
Hmm.
and they work in different ways.
Yes.
Like you're saying, like the acting coach, you can't do it one way because
Yes.
it literally reads differently based off of your human essence, you
Hmm.
know, and then also the technical choices that you make that lend itself. And it's such a joy, man. It's such a joy.
Man, I'm so glad I was able to like come across you and like see you in class. Like you
Likewise,
were a
bro.
pleasant surprise, brother. Like genuinely, like everyone is so good. And then like at the time frame, I only knew one other guy, but he wasn't there at the day. So at first when I got in there, I was like by myself. I was like, oh, I'm the only guy. I'm gonna have to do like
It was
like at the
just you
time,
and
I was like,
me,
oh.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like at the time, I was like, oh man, that was the first time like we met. It was only both of us. And then like over time we see a lot of like the typings, you kind of like see everybody, you're like, okay, I can see them doing this, I can see them doing that, right? And it's like different ways of doing the same scenes like you were saying, and it gives so much like life. Like a scene with somebody who's more like, oh man, like jovial, even though it's like a serious scene, it almost reads almost like a dark comedy sometimes.
Mhm.
And you're like, whoa, like I didn't see that coming at all. Because in your head, you're like only able to see you and what makes sense for you or what you really like, Because we'll
Mhm.
always try to touch what we like. Whereas like, okay, I want to get close to that. That's the sun. If I'm near it, I'll get warm enough, right? And maybe it'll burn, right? It'll catch fire. But like we never think of the other stars that also burn, that are also reaching for their sun, getting close to that same feeling. So it's like we're watching that, and it's so inspiring to witness it in real time. Like I genuinely missed being in a training setting, and GSS like really showed out. Like I did not know what to expect, but I was like, oh, this is fire. This is amazing.
Dude,
Yeah.
100%. And it's again when you have a teacher, like I had this one amazing coach, and being able to navigate, and she would always say picking nits, I'm picking nits, like that was amazing, I'm picking nits, like let's play, like let's do this so wrong that we might find something right. Let's do this whole scene in a whisper and see how that feels. And you're not going to do the whole scene in a whisper, but there might be moments where you're like that was really interesting,
Yes.
and you're like shedding layers, and then you're also build it's one of the most fulfilling things ever, dude. And I like there's the scene from oh, Robin Williams, Ethan Hawke, oh, Dead Poet Society, where he
Oh yeah,
opens.
yeah, yeah.
That is like my dream every time I'm in a class where it's so scary and you're thrown up there and you don't know the answer at all, but you're demanded to be present and you're demanded to just let loose whatever, especially for, and I feel like a lot of actors are like introverts too. For us who might not naturally express everything on our in our head and on our heart, to be able to be given permission to just unleash all the weird shit inside of us
Hmm.
and just make those strong choices. I think everyone should take an acting class because I think it's the most liberating thing that we can do. It's incredible.
Yes,
It's
I
incredible.
agree. You well said, man. You hit the nail on the head, man. That was beautiful.
All right, my dude, I could talk to you for literally hours.
Same,
Even,
bro.
dude, for anyone who's listening and not watching, like your smile, I could just stay just for your smile, bro.
Thank you,
You're a
bro. Oh
light.
man, this
You're a light.
bromance is beautiful.
All right, so we talked a little bit about the past, about the present. Now I want to talk a little bit about the future. I'm a little at odds every time I ask this question because while I do believe in manifestation and getting clear and concise and like speaking our goals into existence, I also believe in doing the work and not necessarily like letting the work speak for itself while
Mm,
before you're like throwing all the things out there. So you can answer this in any way, shape, or form. In a month, 3 months, 6 months, a year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, goals, ambitions, dreams. It could be a vision board of colors, a mood board. It could be anything. What are some, yeah, of those aspirations or things that you're looking forward to or got going on or anything like that?
Man, I think right now what I'm hoping for the most, because I usually do like a 5 year plan, right? The 5 year plan is just to, you have this one thing you want, and then you're kind of like, okay, how do I get there? And my mom always said, I want you to write plan A. And plan A, we all know, right? We were like, all right, this is what's gonna happen. She's like, plan B. It's like, you change like one thing. She's like, plan C. And you're like, what? Plan D. I'm like, wait, there's more? Plan E and F. You just keep going. Eventually, when you do that, the lineup becomes, all right, well, it's prepare for maybe these outcomes, all these different avenues to get to that same thing. So for me, right now, I think how I want to excel or get to this next 5 years is I want to be able to do projects I'm proud of that allow me to be seen, because that's hard, like trying to get in projects that will let you really, really like, shine. Unless the director's like, I really love this, they gotta see it. The editing room is TV and film is not an actor's medium.
Mhm.
Like like it's beautiful, we love it, but there's so many takes. Like Andrew, you'll be in the room like this is fire. This is the greatest take, and the director's like, oh, I love that. You go to see the project, and it's like you're doing the lines, and no one's seeing your face. You're seeing a table with food, and then you go back to you saying like one line, and you're just like, fuck, you know. So it's like I want to be in projects where I can get that moment. Fingers crossed.
Mhm.
And then also I want to be able to ultimately live off my work. I truly am grateful for the things around me because they're allowing me to pursue it. So within 5 years' time, may I be able to live off of the work. May I be able to be proud of the work. And yeah, I think those are the only two. Like I've Yeah, it's very interesting when you end up saying those things aloud. Because like when we're younger, we think about all the dreams prior, and we're like, yeah, and this, and this, and this, and it's almost like cathartic, but also kind of sad, because it makes you go, no, like the energy is still there. It's just sitting a bit differently, and it's scary because you don't know what that is. It's like kind of yeah. So I feel like yeah, those are the Yeah, it's kind of, I feel kind of, yeah, those are the only two. I want to be able to live off the work and be proud of the work.
Yeah, man, dude, simplicity is king. It's
Yeah,
truly real.
man.
All right, brother. Now we got some final rapid fire questions. Some of these might take a little bit. You can take a little bit more grace and a little bit more time to answer them. Some of them are a little silly. Some of them are a little bit more serious. But first off,
Yes.
we got, what would you say right now brings you the most joy?
Most joy. People, surprisingly, people, right now in a time that's so like crazy, a lot of times we're like, people, right? But now I'm like meeting a lot of cool people. I'm embracing my culture, their cultures, like the want for everyone to thrive in some way, whether it be like, oh man, I just wanted a cup of water today and I got it. Like it's just so like yeah, people like we're so focused on the negative of people right now that we forget that people are also good. So yeah, people.
Mhm. Great answer. What are your top four values?
Ooh, top four values. Family values are important. And it doesn't necessarily inherently mean uh traditional values in like the Western terms or anything like that. It just means like whatever your family has built in terms of what they want to pass on to their kids, an understanding of like I guess layman's terms like tribalism, like you understand like where you come from and understanding who your people are, what you can build on that. I would say the next value would be love. Love is a value that I had to learn to understand because I was very removed as a kid. Like I did not understand it. Holding hands freaked me out. I used to think I was in a cage, like I was a bird in a cage. Every time my mom would grab my hand and be like, "We gotta cross the street," I'm like, "Let me go." Um, Dang, number three, I would say, would a value be knowledge? I guess like knowledge
Yeah.
can be a value. Knowledge, like knowing what the world is not a bad thing. I think a lot of time when it comes to people who are spiritual or religious, which are two different things, it's the feeling of like you can't be of the world. We can't escape the world. The world is here. Yes, be spiritual. Yes, have moments of detachment. Yes, understand that, these things can be inherently bad for our psyche or our body or whatever the case may be, but also know that we have to live in it and that we have to also push that positivity that we are trying to generate within ourselves out into the world to hopefully create balance. Um, and the last one, art, man. Art is a value. Art is a true value. It is a protest, it is a battle cry, it is a love note, it is a rhythm. Like art in itself is pure expression of the soul in all facets. Like sometimes I'll wear clothes and be like, man, today I want to feel fly as shit because I feel pretty. And put it on, I'm like, all right, now I'm pretty today. Or, oh man, I want to do my hair like in a ponytail today. I'm expressing myself. Or, man, I like that one song I heard. And just learning how to play one riff on that makes you feel so elated. Art is beautiful. That is a value I feel like everybody should appreciate.
Mm. Amen. Amen. All right, now when I sit with the kind of the intention of this podcast, a lot of times I sat and I was like, I think I really want to celebrate guests and give moments of celebration. So I want to take a moment to kind of sit in self-reflection of life. What is a moment in your life that you are the most proud of yourself for? Could have been an obstacle that you overcame or anything kind of along that realm. Kind of the first thing that pops in your head.
Staying in New York.
Mm,
Like, that is that is a big one. I went through a lot of shifts, like environments, people, um, and you get those ups and downs of like when you feel like you're on a high and everybody loves you, and then you're on a super low. Everybody's like, "Ah, fuck, I hate this guy," right? We do it to others, they do it to us. Like it's a cycle. It's a never-ending cycle, especially as creatives, because you're around people all trying to fit in. We're all a bunch of weird people trying to fit in and find a tribe. We're all trying to find people that we rock with that can also like elevate us internally, spiritually, some people more financially. You know what I mean? Like we're all trying to just be successful. And I think I had moments where I thought maybe I shouldn't, or that maybe something was in the way of it. And those seconds of doubt disappeared just off the strength of undying willpower. I was like, that undying willpower I have that got me to New York, that got me close to where I needed to be. I was like, I do not care. I do not care about what anybody's doing or how they're going about it. I'm gonna fight for what I want to do and what I believe I'm supposed to be doing. So yeah, the willpower of that is important for sure.
mhm. That's a great answer. What would you say is your spirit animal?
Um, hmm. I don't know. Repeat the question.
Your spirit animal. I guess this can be like a self-proclaimed spirit animal.
Okay, okay. Sometimes I like to think that I'm an like an eagle because of like the flight of just like not um giving a fuck. Like you're just going with the wave, right? But of course we're human, we do give a shit. So I like to think more so that a wolf would be it. One, because I'm shamelessly a boy. I like wolves. They're cool. And also um they're very strong, man. Like they run, they hunt, they're going after what they believe. And there was this anime I saw called Wolf's Rain. It's literally about these wolves trying to find paradise in whatever way they can. And it was very, very impactful as a kid. I still listen to the album. The album is so good. It's so good.
Mm.
They got bossa nova on there. There's folk music. Yeah, Wolf's Rain. I recommend it. Um, It's so good. And it's just the concept of what are you willing to die for? What are you willing to chase and die for just off the strength of you went for it? And yeah. So I would say a wolf. A wolf is
Hmm.
probably the main one.
Fire, 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 fire. What is, say you're a bit of a comic book guy. What's the best comic book out there, man? What's your go-to?
Right now,
It could be like an all-time favorite, like when you were a kid, like that's the
all
one.
time. I loved. I'm really like I'm mentally deranged,
Let
low
us
key.
know.
I would say I loved reading Watchmen for the first time.
Mm,
I was like, what the fuck is this? This is so messed up. I was like, Rorschach, why am I rooting for you? You're a bigot. I'm like, what's going on? Like the murders, all of the stuff that was happening, like the propaganda. It was literally a history book in comic form of a fake world. And I was like, this is so beautiful. This is crazy.
yeah, wait, that's cool because I feel like tonally that's probably way different than all the superhero comics, right? Like that was
Yes.
probably one of the first darker,
Hmm.
almost real life interpretation. Like that's yeah, that's a great answer.
Yeah, thank you, man. Got me into anime because then I started reading like Devil Man and stuff, and I was
Yeah.
like, the world is fucked. We're all gonna die.
It's in right now, man. It's in right now.
Yeah.
All right, what is a this because you can think about this one. What is a book, a movie, or a TV character that you would say is most like you?
Fuck. TV character. Shit, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
It's a
deep one.
doozy. It's a
Ah,
doozy.
that's hard. Cause like I feel like everyone, we always feel like we have like a billion different sides of us.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess I what I want to, huh? I'm gonna say, what's his name? Officer Harper. It was on. Okay, so there was a show in the '80s called 21 Jump Street with Johnny Depp,
Mm-hmm.
and I I was recently watching it, and I was like, yeah, that's some shit I would do. Like, I was like, yep, this makes sense. And like the chameleon aspect, you're always trying to like blend in and figure out how you fit in, right? Like that's just normal, especially as artists, we always do that. But his mannerisms, I noticed I had a bit of, and I actually used it in an audition. I booked something by doing that because I was like, oh, that's just something I do. So I'll say Johnny Depp's character in 21. Let me find the name if I can do that real quick. 21 Jump Street. What's the character's name? Uh, it's oh my God. The first thing it does is the movie. Fuck off. But yeah, his character in that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a good answer.
Yeah.
What is your go-to comfort film? Might not be your favorite film, but it's the one you kind of always go back to.
If we're talking about like, ooh, yeah, okay. Best Man. The Best Man is one of my favorite films of all time. Very underrated film. Um, whew, Tay Diggs, Morris Chestnut, um, Nia Long, Sanaa Lathan, Regina Hall. Oh my gosh, like everybody in, I'm even missing some names. Everybody in there was
Mhm.
brilliant. That movie, like as an adult, even more now, I'm like, yo, I would love to do a piece like this. Like this is so powerful because it's really just about friends and the journey that they had in college and them like going off to be professionals and then coming for this wedding and then a bunch of things are revealed that happened at school that the others didn't know about because of a book and now they don't have to sit there and deal with it. It was beautiful. It's
Mhm.
so well done.
Yeah, it's a great answer.
Thank you.
All right, yeah, dude. Now you go on and live an unbelievable life. I'm talking like you go out, you find your tribe, you book the jobs, you are seen, not just seen, dude, you become an icon in this space in action and drama and comedy and all the disciplines. And maybe you start your own business on the side. You are a mentor to so many kids, so many people look up to you, and you build and form a beautiful family. You see the world. You're just constantly growing and evolving, and you are supporting yourself in this career, doing what you love every single day. You're 90 years old on your rocking chair, sharing story after story after story, and ultimately you lived a beautiful life to like 135. But ultimately your time is up, and you move on to that next space, whatever that is. And it's the day of your funeral. You have friends and family there. On that day, what do you want people to say about you, and what do you want to leave behind?
Oof. I hope I hope what they say is that he fought hard for others. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
it's a beautiful answer. All right, man. And final question. Let's say there's an artist out there, and maybe they're in New York City, they just moved to New York City, maybe they're, 11, 12, 13, trying to figure out themselves, and they're interested in art, but they don't know how to express it, or they're interested in being an actor, but they don't know how to get in, and they're just kind of lost and struggling and wandering. What kind of advice would you have for a young artist in today's world?
It's okay to be embarrassed. Go ask that question. Ask that question. Be a little goofy. Um, you never know what mimicry does. Like you watching a TV show you like and mimicking it to the best of your ability. You never know what it does because that's what I was doing. I was watching TV shows or movies and I would say the line back to them. I would say the same line. I'm like, I could do it too. I didn't know what it meant, but yeah, for all the little homies, be be just as fearless as you are when you're talking to your parents, to other people that you admire, because you never know. Like there was a kid I saw on I was like skimming through theater and the theater TikToks and whatnot, or Instagram. I don't use TikTok, but so I was looking through that, and there was this young man who came to his first Broadway show. It was MJ the musical, and he was watching it. Literally 6 months later, he's now Little Michael. He said, I'm gonna go do it." He said, "I saw it. I'm gonna get on the show." Goes and does it.
Mm,
Now he's on tour. So it's like, like be fearless, be goofy, ask that question. I know it's scary, but ask that question. You never know who's just gonna be like, "Oh, this is how you can do it."
mm. Yeah, man. Dream big, baby. Dream
Yeah,
big. Dude, I got so much love for you, man. This is such a joy. Again, we've literally known each other for maybe like a little over a month. It's
yeah.
crazy. And I'm just so excited for what you do in this space, the stories that you tell, the impact that you have through the stories that you tell, and just what's to come, man. Just so blessed. But before I let you go, man, let us know, where can we find you? Where can we support you? And if you got anything going on.
Wow, thank you so much. Honestly, before I even do that, I want to tell you you're a legend in the making. You are going to achieve so many things. Your spirit is so bright, and I know that everything that you are working towards is going to flourish. So thank you so much for even just your kind words of asking these questions and giving me the chance to even speak on anything. Truly, you're a legend, Andrew. You can find me on Instagram at Nii Adu Clerk, um, all underscore put together. And yeah, that's like the main one. Yeah.
IG, baby.
Yes.
Hoorah. All right, my dude.
Hoorah.
I'm not gonna keep you any longer. Thank you, man. Again, keep on keeping on, brother. Keep on
Thank
keeping
you,
on.
brother.
And I'll see
Thank
you
you.
around. Hopefully, I gotta figure out when I'm getting back into class. But
Yeah,
John, did you get
same.
the email about Gabriella's
Yeah, yeah.
performance? Maybe we'll, yeah, hit
Mm-hmm,
that
mm-hmm.
up.
Her
That'd be cool.
her off Broadway debut. I'm definitely gonna try to see if I can slide for that at some point. Because I actually
Yeah.
I really want to see her do that show.
Mm-hmm.
She's insane.
She's great.
She's nuts. I'm so geeked about it. I'm definitely trying to see next time I can go. I'm trying to go next month because right now there's a bunch of like I need to put you on. I'm gonna put you on tonight. I'm going tonight. I'm gonna pass. Yeah.
Cool.
We're gonna make
What's
things
up?
happen.
What's up?
Yeah.
All right, brother. Appreciate you.
Oh, thank you. Much love, man. Appreciate you so much.